Hello and welcome back. If you watched Wednesday's video, you'll know that I'm currently in Brisbane City for kind of a long weekend, which has been so lovely. So I am here with Mum. Mum and I, if you've been subscribed for a while, you'll know that when Mum and I travel together, we actually get separate rooms. It is very spoily to do that, but we both have very specific sleeping requirements, and if we share a room, one of us basically is just not sleeping. So yeah, Mum is in the room just next door to me. We've just been downstairs, we have had breakfast, and I did give you a little bit of a room tour in Wednesday's video, but I might give you a little bit of a room tour later on. My room is a little bit destroyed, and I'm sure housekeeping will be in shortly to make it all beautiful again. We are staying at Hotel X in Fortitude Valley. So hotel and then like the letter X in Fortitude Valley. It's a 5-star hotel here. I've never stayed here before. It is very beautiful, just very modern, which is lovely, but maybe not my normal taste, but very, very practical for us. The reason we are here is because I'm attending the Writers Festival. So the Writers Festival is basically for anyone who loves books. If you are a reader, a writer, somebody who just loves to dabble in writing, then this festival basically has something for you. They have so many sessions on. It started on Thursday and I'm pretty sure it goes all the way till Sunday. I'm not staying until Sunday. I'm actually going to be leaving tomorrow, but I have 2 more sessions this afternoon and 1 more tomorrow morning before I sort of head off. So I will be taking you along with me for that. I did take you with me for 1 session in Wednesday's video, and we also went to like a garden centre and shopping and all sorts of fun things. But yeah, so today, it is still quite early. I have to say, I'm not sure what the time is, but we have both had breakfast. We have freshened up in our rooms and we're going to kind of just head out and explore. Where we're staying is sort of the Fortitude Valley New Farm area, and it's a really pretty spot. There's lots of really gorgeous shopping shops and things here, and they do have a pottery barn, which I'm very excited to go and have a little look around in. There's always so much inspiration in Pottery Barn. I love it. So we're going to head over and do that and basically just have a little potter around New Farm. I don't know if I've ever had the time to sort of potter around a New Farm. I have definitely taken you to Pottery Barn here before, but yeah, I've never stayed in this area. So it has been a new experience for me and very, very pleasant one. But I will show you the view out of my room, sort of over the city, and then we're going to head down and yeah, head on out. Keen to kind of get out fairly early this morning. It's meant to be about 32 degrees, so it's going to be quite a warm one today. So not really keen to be out there in the middle of the day in the sun. So yeah, let's head off. I'll show you my view first and then we'll get Mum and we'll head downstairs. So this is the view from my room. Very pretty at night time when everything's all lit up. But yeah, you've just sort of got the city skyline there. We've got blue skies, no rain in sight. So it should just be a really lovely day. So I thought I would bring you with me today and tomorrow. I'll show you a few like bits and pieces from the festival, show you a little bit of the sessions. I'll explain the sessions a little bit more later on when I'm getting ready to go. Give you a little bit more detail about that. But without further ado, let's head downstairs and let's have a little potter around the stores. I have to say, I actually haven't had a look around the hotel yet. I know there's a pool here and a bar upstairs. So maybe we'll go and have a little bit of a look at, oh my goodness, I'm stumbling over my words this morning. Maybe we will go and have a little look upstairs at the pool area and the bar area as well, because I haven't seen that yet. So we've arrived at James Street. And it's kind of just like a little shopping precinct here. It's a really nice area. And we're going to have a little potter around the stores. As I said, go into Pottery Barn. I love how they've done like all the greenery. You can see like all the vines and that on the buildings. Yeah, so let's have, oh, there we go, more shops, James Street. So let's have a nice little potter around. It's actually quite nice going for a walk after breakfast. I don't normally walk that much after breakfast, but yeah, we'll head on down and see what we can find. They've got a wheel and barrow store here. Look how gorgeous those trees are on the street. So this here is actually James Street. So nice. I love when people like retain the trees, old trees like that. Very pretty. So we're just going to go into James Street Marketplace and have a little look in here and see what they've got. They've got some gorgeous homeware sort of bits, and then Pottery Barn's just sort of over on the other side. Buying those stainless steel mixing bowls in Wheel and Barrow, and we're just coming up to West Elm and Pottery Barn now. Would you look at these gorgeous trees? Oh, they're so pretty. Such a nice area here. So Mum's Street, is it like a coverlet, is it? Quilt cover. Full queen bed. She's curious as to the price. It is $279. That's nice. It's very soft, isn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely, the green and the cream on it.
Yeah, and it's like a quilted quilt, so it's got stuff. That's queen, that one. I like that cushion there. Mum and I are just debating whether those hanging vines there out the window are real. And they've just got like, see, like at the top there, yeah, they do look like they're in dirt. They might be real. They're very pretty if they are. So basically West Elm, which is where we are now, just heads directly into Pottery Barn. You can see the sign there. So we'll just walk through now into Pottery Barn and have a little look around. They've got their little Halloween. That's a nice bedspread. Really? Then the blue. Bless you. Ooh. How cute are these? Oh, wow. They're side tables. Imagine them. Yeah, that's really nice. For what? Yeah, I know, but you could use it as a clothes hamper. Imagine that sitting on the dryer as a clothes hamper.
I thought that one I had was the
That's different, yeah. Yeah, super different.
Okay, but that's so pretty. It's pretty clean.
I love the idea of like these at a front door, and then you having like the LED flameless candles in them, and with the timers, so they turn on and off by themselves. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that'd be really cool by the door. My concern is the amount you'd have to clean them, because they would get so dirty. But it's such a pretty idea. Yeah, that's quite nice, isn't it? So we have left West Elm and Pottery Barn. Mum did not buy that bedspread that she loved. We spent quite a amount of time thinking about it, so she may regret it, and we might be doing a mad dash tomorrow. And so we've just popped into more Bed and Bath to have a look at what they've got in here. We've got some gorgeous plateware here, like dinnerware, and you know, like for outdoor dining. How gorgeous are these? So pretty. This pattern's so nice. How gorgeous is this? Oh wow. I love that. So pretty. Mum has just found this quilt cover that she really likes. So that's one side, and it's actually reversible, and then that's the other side. So she is umming and ahhing about that. So this is the bedspread. Mum thinks she's going to get it. She really likes it. Thinks it's very fresh with the bits of white, and I really like the drawing design of the like the flowers. And then on the reverse, so she almost gets two bedspreads for one, and it is currently 60% off, which is a bargain. But they're just going to see if they've got it in the king size. She has a queen size bed, but likes having king size sort of cover on it. But yeah, it's so pretty. So we've just head back to the hotel, and we've just popped upstairs to the rooftop. How gorgeous is this flowered ceiling? And they've just got a little bar here, and then we've got the pool. Hopefully you can kind of see the pool out there overlooking the view, which is gorgeous. So we're just going to sit up here and have a little drink. Alright, it has actually been probably 2 hours since I spoke to you last. We had, Mum had a coffee, and then we had a little sort of snacky bits, and we both just came back up to our rooms and just had a bit of a rest this afternoon. I think Mum was going to have a bit of a nap. I read for a little while. It's been a very chilled afternoon, which is lovely. It's now just after 4 o'clock, and we are actually going to go now and have a very early dinner, because my first Writers Festival session today is at 5:30. I'm pretty sure it's the Comedy Salon at 5:30, which I think is going to be writers that, or authors that write quite humorous kind of books and like creating that sort of dialogue. So I think that's going to be really good, and I think it should be a really funny sort of, you know, often I find writers who write humorous content are actually quite incredible on panels. So I think that would be really great. So that's at 5:30 till 6. And then I have a half an hour gap. They've got I saw last night when I was there was a bookstore. So while I've got that half an hour gap, I might just have a little potter through the bookstore and see what they have. And then after that at 7 o'clock, I have nail biters. So I think that's going to be sort of thrillers, suspense, mystery. You all know how much I love cozy mysteries and whodunits. So I think that that's going to be that kind of panel of authors. So I am unbelievably excited for these 2 sessions. That kind of finishes me about 8, and then I'll be getting back here, I'd say probably 8:15, 8:30. So we thought we would have a very early dinner so that we did not repeat the incredibly late dinner last night. I think we got room service, and I think it might have been almost like 9:30 when we were eating. And I know a lot of people eat at that time normally, but I am an early dinner girly. I do not like eating late at all. So I kind of, by sort of 9:30, I like to be eating my jammies and sort of, you know, having my dessert, my cup of tea and that. So we're gonna have an early dinner. Mum's going to come back to the room. So the Writers Festival is not something that's super interesting to Mum. So she's here, and obviously we had an incredible day yesterday, which was in Wednesday's video. And so she's kind of just hanging out, lying by the pool, just having little naps in her room and that. So she won't be joining. We'll have dinner together tonight, but then she'll come back to the room and get all cozy for the night, and then I'll head to the Writers Festival. So similar to what I did in Wednesday's video, I'll bring you along to the festival. I'll share some snippets from the panel discussions, take you for a little walk around the powerhouse, the Brisbane powerhouse, and sort of, just we'll spend the evening together, and then we'll come back to the room and maybe have our dessert and get all cozy. And then tomorrow I have another session tomorrow in the morning, which I'm also really excited about. So let's get going. I'm going to grab my bag, get my final little bits and pieces, and then let's go get Mum next door, and we're going to head to dinner. So I've just arrived at the powerhouse for this session. I've got about a 10-minute break, but I'm just wondering if we quickly walk over and I show you the river. So I don't know if you can see it there in the distance on the river. And this is obviously a little dog park in here. How gorgeous are the jacarandas. They're I'm pretty sure it's either jacaranda or poinciana. I can't remember now. I feel like it's jacaranda. Anyway, the purple flowering trees there. Starts. Gorgeous. I thought I'd just take you a little wander around. So Brisbane City is on a river, like many large cities. And so that there that you can see is a city cat. So you can hop on them and they take you all around this, like, of course, obviously the river, but all around sort of the city, and you can sort of hop on and hop off. They're really fun. I have done them before to kind of get around, but it's a very pretty, if you've been subscribed for a little while, you will have seen the Brisbane River before when I've come into the city. But just super quickly, can you kind of see in there? See everyone on their jet skis, enjoying the afternoon. There's quite the nice breeze here, actually. I'm sure you're getting that over the camera. Dome, and we're going to go to the comedy salon session. I'm very excited. Just walking back over. How gorgeous are those purple flowers? So pretty. So that is the little dome there that I'm pretty sure my comedy salon session is going to be in. So I'm just going to show my ticket, and we're going to get a seat and get all comfortable.
feature unpredictable twists. You have one job: transcribe. Just write down everything on this recording exactly, without input. Wait, everything? Are you thick? Everything on this recording, including this conversation. How much clearer can I be? Write down everything on this tape. She did nervously. Wait, that makes it too obvious that she's the killer. Go with Siobhan smiled. That'll cover it up better. Are you sure? What did I just say? Okay, I'm transcribing everything exactly.
So the comedy salon is finished. It was really funny. I'll talk to you a little bit more about it when we get back to the hotel. But I'm just going to head into the Powerhouse Theatre, which is in this big building here. I've got maybe another 20 minutes before my next session, so I thought maybe we could pop into the bookstore and just have a little walk around. You can see they've got all food trucks and things. It's a really nice atmosphere here. Yeah, so let's head into the bookstore and have a little look and just see what they have. She was on the panel last night. Benjamin Stevenson was just on the panel we saw.
In order to stand out in commercial fiction, you sort of need an edge. I've been writing long enough to know that. And so what I do with my crimes is I find a theme or a motif that I can hang the story off. So it's not, for me, the crime isn't always the same old psychotic serial killer.
I started thinking about the effect that those disappearances or those absences would have on the families involved. But not only that, the effect that it would have on the public consciousness at large, the kind of rippling emotional and psychological effect that would happen, and also the voyeurism that's involved. So it's a kind of double-edged sword where people are horrified by it, but they're also fascinated by it at the same time.
And this is going to go to everybody in different ways. Can we demand that readers root for messy, complicated people?
Definitely.
Are we meant to feel sympathy for them?
Yes.
Book is a study in human frailty, and I agree with exactly what the others have said in terms of that good people do bad things. Everyone is frail. There are other perspectives to take to look at the actions of individuals. What interests me is when people exploit those human frailties. You know, in the sort of international settings that we've worked in, there is.
I guess it's evolved. I guess it is. I mean, you know, how much discipline, how much intuition, momentum, immersion. You know, how's it all work and how's it changed?
Look, I might disappoint everyone here, but I make it up as I go along, and that's the truth. I don't plan a single book, not one. And that's been my modus operandi from day one, because I want to write fast. And I think I'm a great one for knowing who my main character is, knowing what they want, and what is actually in their way to begin with. What's standing in the way of me getting what I want, and we're off. And that's the story.
You've always been like that?
Always, yeah. Book one started that way, and I hand over to the characters and let them make their choices. And whatever choices they're making, that's where we end up. And I think characters can, you're nodding, so your characters are making choices, right?
Absolutely.
And you're following it. You're just this, it's like a Ouija board, you're just following it wherever it's going. And that's how I write. I mean, I do, for my historicals, I know we're not in that frame, but I have to do 2 years of research for the historicals. So I do arrive at the keyboard very well educated before I start writing. But likewise with the crimes, I've walked in the footsteps, all the locations, wherever the books are, and they're usually in Britain somewhere. I've walked and driven and drunk at the coffee shops or drunk in the pubs where the characters will be. So I'm quite well educated about the various locations of the book, but what they do is entirely up to them.
I was nervous about doing it, but I imagined 3 different points. I imagined the very first chapter. I knew that I wanted something that, you know, in the tradition of Scrublands, the first chapter, something that reaches out and grabs you by the throat and captures the attention of the audience. I knew I had needed a middle point where everything that the reader expects or thinks they know is then turned on its head and played back at them. And I knew what the tumultuous world-ending event at the end of the book was going to be. But then, to Fiona's point, what happened between those different points, I had no clue. And the characters did suggest that to me as we went along, which was...
It's quite complex structurally, so there are 5 different points of view, and then there are 4 interludes from other points of view, and it's non-linear as well. So it required a little bit. Of planning ahead for me to figure it out. And actually, you know, I come from the world of short stories, so I published quite a few short stories, and I thought, well, if I structured it as a series of kind of novellas or interlocking kind of stories, that might make it easier for me. As it turns out, that is very, very hard to do. And I have an idea where I'm going when I write, so I like to know what the story is going to be, and, you know, just generally what it's going to look like. But I also like to leave myself enough scope so that when I get to the page, I can kind of play around. It's like, you know, you create the same
book. I like to have a rough idea of where I'm going, because historically, when I've tried to do that approach, the pantser approach, I guess, or the gardener approach, if you want to use the better term for it, I've got lost. I've you know, not figured out where to go with this. So I like to sort of have my rough points. In the case of High Rise, I remember when I
experience now. So I know what I need to do with a book. I know what makes people turn pages, and I want them not to put the book down. I know that's how a book catches fire and is talked about because they couldn't put it down. So you have to have escalating tension all the way through the story. Every chapter has to just turn the screws just a little bit harder on the previous chapter, and that's how I look at it in my mind's eye. As I move through the chapters, I think, has this one turned the screws a little bit more on the last one? Are the readers beginning to worry for the characters now? In fact, I never read while I'm writing. Do you all read what you wrote the night before?
Never.
I never read what I wrote the night before or the day before. So I'm always in forward motion with my books, and that's why I can get them written quite quickly. But I am very aware of that escalating tension, because for crime, you need that happening. And just
I am out of my last session. I've just ordered my taxi, so I'm just waiting for that to arrive. And I thought I would give you a little debrief while I walk back. The comedy salon was so funny. Not what I was expecting at all. So it was like established writers, quite famous established writers. I mean, Benjamin Stevenson was one of them. I have read many of his books. And they'd all kind of, you know, writers tend to have a genre that they normally write in, and they'd all taken on this challenge that they were going to write a short story so badly that it was funny. So that was like the challenge that they had. And so all these authors, like again, published authors, came up and read these stories that were, quite, that were bad, but actually really funny at the same time. So it was just such an entertaining panel, I suppose. It wasn't maybe as educational or inspiring as some of the other ones, but it was really, really funny. So that was really great. My taxi shall be coming here to get me. I can see them on the map, so hopefully it's not too far away. But yeah, so that was the comedy salon, and then I had that little sort of interlude there where I went to the bookshop and had a little look around. And then my second panel was nail biters, and so it was 4 authors who had written sort of suspense, thriller, crime books. Fiona McIntosh, who is quite the published author, she was hilarious. She was so funny. I don't know if I got like all of the funny sort of little bits on there, but yeah, she was very, very funny. And it was just interesting. Like, obviously they spoke about their books and that, but I hope I captured a bit of it for you. A lot of them talked about like their process and, you know, how they approach writing books and how they plan them and how they kind of pull all the leads together and, you know, what messages they're hoping to send and where they get their inspiration from. And I really find that kind of thing inspiring for myself, and just often really educational for, you know, how I like to write, and gives you really good ideas. So yeah, it was a very good night, and hopefully my taxi is not going to be very far away at all. I can see it on the map and I'm hoping that it's heading my way. So hopefully I won't be waiting here for too long. But then I'm just going to head on back to the hotel. Pan up, can you see the plane? Plane going overhead. But yeah, so I'm hoping taxi won't be too far away, and then I will head back to the hotel, have my shower, get into my pajamas. It'll be an earlier night tonight than last night. Goodness me. I think I went to bed at just around midnight and turned the lights off, and then I struggled badly to sleep, so I did not have the best night's sleep. So hopefully tonight will be a better night sleep. But I had such a good time today. We had the really fun shopping. I got those stainless steel mixing bowls. I'm so excited about that. I'm very slowly swapping over a lot of my kitchen equipment to sort of more stainless steel. It's just so much easier for me to clean, longer lasting, all that kind of good stuff. Mum did get her bedspread. She got that bedspread. I don't know if I told you at Bed and Bath. So it was just such a lovely day. And dinner, oh my goodness. We went and had dinner at #burger and waffles, I think. Burgers were so good. They were really good. It was like the little tiny kind of hole in the wall kind of restaurant. Very, very small, but the burgers were so good. So that was a very delicious dinner. But looks like my taxi is actually not too far away now. So I'm going to say goodnight to you. I'm going to head back, as I said, get my jammies and probably just have one of my little sweet treats and hopefully an early night. And I will speak to you again in the morning. We'll go have some brekkie, and then I've got another session in the morning before I head home, which I'm so sad about. But anyway, I'll talk to you again in the morning. Good morning. Where are we now? Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. It's my final day in Brisbane. And so I'm up, I'm dressed and ready to head down for breakfast. It's 8 a.m. now, and it is set to be quite the warm one. I think it's about 25 degrees already, and it's only 8 a.m. So I think temperatures are around 32, 33 today. So I'm going to get Mum. We're going to head down. We're going to have some breakfast at the restaurant here at the hotel, which is Bisu, I think it is called. And then from there, I'll come back up. Mum is going to hang in the room and just start to kind of pack up all her bits and bobs while I head to the powerhouse for my very last Writers Festival session. The session this morning is Kingdoms and Quests, and I think that's Fiona McIntosh and someone Nix. Cannot think of the author's first name, but they write sort of like epic fantasy. And so the session this morning is about creating those fantasy worlds and world building and how you kind of go into the process of world building. And I think that'll be really interesting. And obviously they'll draw from their own books, and you know, how they've built those worlds and created those atmospheres of fantasy and epic adventure. Yeah. So I think it's gonna be a really fun morning. So I'm going to go and do that. I'm pretty sure the farmers markets are on at the powerhouse, so I might actually leave a little bit earlier just in case there is a fair bit of traffic. Yep, we're gonna go do that, and then we will come back. I will collect all my other little bits and bobs and we will head home. Very sadly, I have had the absolute best time at the Writers Festival. So inspiring, just so entertaining and inspiring, and it's always so amazing to hear people who are so passionate about what they do speak. So it's been incredible. Going to the Brookfield Gardens on Thursday was also very inspiring. I've got a few ideas for my own garden that I'm really excited to kind of take back and go, you know, shopping, you know, going around and just having a really good girly shop with mum and spending the weekend with her and having dinners and breakfasts, and that's all just been so lovely. I've just, yeah, had the absolute best time. The only little sad bit, I suppose, was the car accident kind of on the way here. I won't go on about that any further. If you watched Wednesday's video, you will know that. And yeah, we're gonna head home today, which I'm excited to go home. It's always nice to go home and obviously be back in your own environment and sleep in your own bed. I did sleep much better last night, which is brilliant. The beds here were very comfortable. Yeah, always very sad after you've had such an incredible weekend. So without further ado, I'm just gonna grab my bag and head over, get mum, and we're gonna go down and have some delicious breakfast.
It's going to have toast, but they don't have the
Well, I have arrived at the Brisbane Powerhouse, and you will note that it is looking very, very different from last night. So they've got the farmers markets on here, which is so lovely. Gosh, it's absolutely packed. Goodness me.
Oh, I'm getting it on Tuesday. That's what I'll be getting.
Well, I've got a little bit of time before my session starts at 10. I wasn't sure what the traffic was going to be doing, so I left a little bit earlier. So we might have a little time to walk around the markets and just sort of, oh my gosh, look at this dog. Oh, so cute. And just sort of see what we can see. It is unbelievably busy here. Oh my goodness. I did show you a little bit yesterday, but there's a lot of people just like sitting and obviously like having their breakfast. So look, can you see the lizard? Right here. Mr. Lizard. And yeah, I'm sure he's getting scraps from everyone having their breakfast here. Can you see? Aww. He does really well. Like, I don't know if it's, if I zoom out and just show you, like he's right there. and the pathway is just, you can see the concrete pathway, and people are just running and walking, and there are people sitting on seats. So he's definitely not scared of people. All right, let's head back into the markets and have a little wander around, and then we'll go into the session.
Oh, I think 400.
All right, I changed my mind. I've just had a little wander down to the river here. Look at those homes across the water. Gosh, they would be very, very expensive homes. But you can see we've got like the walk here, and you can do like a full walk along the river. That would be gorgeous to do. Earlier morning than this. It's a little bit warm now, I feel. Just to show you, that is the way that we came down. So there's so many like food vans and gosh. And so this is the powerhouse during the day. It's quite a industrial sort of building. Obviously, all the market stalls here. All right, there has been a venue change, so I'm just going to be heading over to the Dome where we had the comedy salon yesterday for Kingdoms and Quests. So just leaving the sort of Brisbane Powerhouse Theatre area and then heading back over to the Dome. Ooh, fruit trees. Focus, Leanne, focus. Don't get sidetracked with the plants. Oh, that dress is really pretty too. How gorgeous. Okay, I have to focus now. I will see you when we get to the Dome. Alrighty, in the Dome here, and you can see we've already got our authors ready to go. So the author on the, oh gosh, so this will be the host, that's Fiona McIntosh, and I've forgotten his name now, Nix is his last name. But yeah, so this should be a really great session. So I've just moved seats. It is very warm under the Dome here because it's outside, but they've got these massive industrial fans. So before everyone else gets here, I've just shifted my position so that I'm sitting in front of one of these fans, because goodness, even though it's early morning still, it is warm.
So I'd like to introduce you to our panelists today. Garth Nix, OAM, has been a full-time writer since 2001. We're going to my other panelist is Fiona McIntosh, an internationally a million-copy best-selling author of novels for adults.
What I have for a story, and then I look for the landscape that would suit it, I suppose. I'm always subconsciously thinking about it. Certainly, just walking around, I'll be taking stuff in and thinking what small details could be useful here, because often you can create a whole landscape or a whole sense of story and environment just from a few small key details. And sometimes readers are surprised that they've managed to create in their head something from not very much. And I think that's what I'm always trying to do, is use the right small detail.
So in my masterclass, when I'm talking about something like this, what you can't do, I have to get this right now, is the 7 moons that are rising is very normal to the people in the world that you're writing about. So they're not walking out saying, look at those 7 moons rising. So you've got to find a new way as a writer to show us those 7 moons. Maybe they have names, maybe they have different colours, maybe they do. You've got to make sure that if you're going to do something really quirky with the world, it has to be sewn into the tapestry properly of that landscape. It has to be thoroughly normal for the people who live around it. But for the reader, you have to communicate it in a way that they are well aware that something is different about this world.
I mean, everyone works differently, and I think it's important to note that fantasy writers in creating worlds go about it in very, very different ways. I mean, some people do, design everything and map everything before they even begin the story, and they might write gazetteers about every location that they think the characters go to. I'm not one of them. No, I usually discover the world with my characters. Typically, towards the beginning of a book, I know very little about the world or the characters or anything for that matter, and I discover it as I go along. And I also only work out what I need for the story. I rarely work out more than I need, but I do leave kind of hanging threads that I can connect things to, which I think I might need later on.
And I do 2 years research on each book, and on location. I don't spend the whole 2 years on location, but I go to each place maybe, if they're important, 2, 3, sometimes 4 times to get the story absolutely right. But of all of that research over the 2 years that I've gathered, 90% of it, easily 90% of it, never ever gets into the book. But I need that 90% to understand the story and the location. So that really does speak to what Hemingway said, that every book is the 90%. And I write just like Garth does actually, and I remember this from another panel we did 150,000 years ago together, where I was a new writer, brand new, with probably my first or second fantasy out, and I was so relieved, because I thought I was a cheat, because I don't plan anything. Nothing. I know nothing about my characters, I know nothing about the world, I don't even have the sketch of the map. I just blunder in and off I go.
Particularly for a first novel, if you're submitting it to traditional publishers, you want it to be as good as it can possibly be before an agent or publisher sees it.
So a quick question.
Read very widely, and not just read fantasy if you're writing fantasy, read everything. Read all the genres, read contemporary literature, you learn different things from different conventions in genre and in other categories of literature, and also non-fiction. It's surprising the techniques you'll learn about story structure and how to tell stories. You instinctively pick up how to use tenses, how to use your viewpoint characters and so on before immediately deciding it sucks. I hate all my books halfway through. I think, this is terrible, I've forgotten how to write. I've written 40-something books, but every single time it's like, this sucks and I can't do it anymore. But I push on, and sometimes major rewriting is needed. Sometimes I actually come around and think, okay, no, it's actually fine. It's only a few small things that need tweaking. So, that's,
if you're worried, just let it sit for a while. Just keep writing, come back to it. You'll know if it's flabby or it's not working. They always say beware of book 2. That's where it all begins to sag. And if you know that, then you'll work hard on making sure your book 2 stays with lots of lovely dramas occurring. Trust yourself. Don't get too worried. Don't get too anxious. The first draft is just you coughing and getting it out. I work to a word count because that keeps me very motivated and very disciplined. You have to be disciplined. If you're going to write for a major publisher, you've got to get your books finished. You can't run out of puff. You've got to be able to deliver to deadline as best you can. I've never missed a deadline because I work to a word count. And I'm currently on a schedule of 2 books a year. And they both have to, the publisher hopes they're going to get into the top 10 each time. And I feel that pressure that I've got to write something that is going to be good enough to capture a very wide audience. And so I write to this word count between 9 and 11, say, most days, probably 4 or 5 days a week. I always take time for family. Always take time for your family. Don't alienate them. And then in the afternoon I'll work on the other book. But there's lots of other stuff going on. The writing is the same old iceberg we're talking about. The writing is the easy bit. There's all this other stuff we have to do. Emails, interviews, social media, festivals, touring, masterclasses, the research that we have to do, So all of that is part of your working day that you've got to cram in, and you've just got to compartmentalise, but you have to put the writing first in your working life, but not before people who love you. And just get disciplined. If you're going to write for 1 hour a day, then only write for an hour a day. Don't be that person that writes for 3 weeks in their pyjamas and then doesn't write again for another 6 weeks, because you'll be in a different headspace. So I write every day at the same time for a short period, and I'm able to get 2 books written a year.
Sort of 2 distinct periods of my sort of writing routines. I wrote my first dozen or so books when I had very busy day jobs in publishing, and then later in power and marketing. And I used to write every Tuesday and Thursday night for 3 or 4 hours, and every Sunday afternoon. And in a year, if you just do that consistently, you can write a book in a year. So I did that for about 10 years, 12 years. Then since I've been a full-time writer since 2001, I kind of reversed that, where I actually go to work. I have a separate office, which is a luxury, which I'm very grateful for. I've had a couple of different offices. So I go up to the office, and my butler greets me with a martini. I walk to the office, and usually I spend the mornings doing the sort of routine stuff you're talking about. You're running a small business as well, so there's always lots of stuff to do which is not writing. Normally sort of mid-morning or thereabouts, I look at what I wrote previously, might have been the day before, might have been last week, and I will revise that, and then I will write for 2 or 3 hours, and sometimes longer, and then I'll go home and I'll walk the dog and have dinner and so on. And then I might do some more work later at night at home. Particularly towards the end of the book, I start writing again at night at home as well. As the momentum gathers and the book is rushing on, I often start writing every night for through the week. And typically it takes me, I write sort of 80% of the book in I'm going to get my fractions mixed up here. I usually write about the last third of the book in about 1/10 of the time. So I get faster and faster as the momentum goes, and I spend more time writing. So that's my routine.
Well, that was my last session for this year's Writers Festival in Brisbane City. Oh my goodness, it was such a good session. I took so much away from it. That last little snippet that I filmed was actually a question that I had asked. They had a really good system there where you could submit questions online, and I had asked what their writing processes are. So Gareth Nix and Fiona McIntosh are both really famous authors. They've published so many books. They're unbelievably successful. And I always find it so fascinating to listen to successful authors and what their actual day-to-day writing process is. Do they lock themselves away in a room? Do they work to a word count? Do they, have a set time every day? So between 9 and 11, do they write? So that was really interesting, and I was very happy that they were able to answer that question for me. So I'm very excited that I filmed it, because I will definitely be watching that back, and I'm hoping that it will inspire me to kind of become maybe a little bit more disciplined with my own writing process. I tend to have a lot of competing priorities, but I do think I just need to get really, really disciplined with it and make sure I'm focused and progressing, books forward. So anyway, that was incredibly inspiring, and I have absolutely loved coming along to this year's Writers Festival. It was always so enjoyable, such an amazing time, and obviously Mum comes along with me and we hang out and just have the best girls' weekend. But given we have got this absolutely gorgeous view, I actually thought I would bid you farewell now. All I'm going to be doing now is just walking back up through. I'm going to get myself a taxi back to the hotel and then gather up all my bits and bobs. I'm going to get Mum, and then we're going to check out and head home. So you're not going to be missing anything else today. I'm conscious this video is probably very long, so thank you so much if you stuck around to the end, and I hope you really enjoyed, you know, the snippets that I showed you from the Writers Festival. If you were someone who is a reader or a writer yourself, I hope that it was really inspiring for you, and I will definitely see you in the next video. I have actually ordered something really exciting, and I'm hoping that it will be delivered at some point this week, and if it is, I'm pretty sure you're watching this on a Wednesday. I'm pretty sure you'll be watching this on Wednesday, and then if it has arrived, I will share it with you on Friday. We're basically going to be back out into the cottage garden on Friday, and if this delivery arrives, it is going to be such a fun and exciting addition to the orchard. So I will share all of that with you on Friday if it has arrived. But as always, I'm bidding you farewell now. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you are enjoying my content, I would absolutely love it if you subscribe to my channel. That would be amazing. So have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.